Dear students, this is our final presentation, and we are going to talk about industrial cultural heritage, about tourism, and about cultural landscape, and to put together, I hope, all the knowledge you get from my presentations. To start the topic of industrial heritage, we have to say that industrial heritage arises as a result of industrial production. And we know that industrial production is maybe not connected with culture production, but now we see that industrial heritage is used for cultural purposes, and they appear as an emergency activity. So we can see the ties between use of cultural heritage and industrial heritage together. In people's consciousness, we see that industry has a little to do with culture, but rather it's seen as the opposite of culture. So to many people, industrial heritage is not associated with high high ambitions, high aesthetic forms. It's, let's say, a synonym of polluted environment, devastation of territory, degradation of social values, dehumanization of labor, exploitation of resources, or fetishization of machines, production, and profit. So, in this term, it's not something we see as a really culturally valuable environment. But now we see that at the same time, industry has always played a significant role in shaping contemporary culture. There are still very important factors that influence culture and industry in one, let's say, organization, or not important what factory or unit we talk about. We see that industry is a precisely organized cooperation system operating on large capacity, networking resources, manpower, and capabilities. It means that this system needs to produce a lot and also to develop interpersonal relationships, forms of cooperation, also cultivate environment for people, and also specific ceremonies and traditions. This is called altogether the phenomenon of a culture of industrial society. We can say it's industrial culture, but not the same meaning of those two terms. So if we look at the culture of the industrial society, the best way is to see an example. My very, very favorite person who really worked in this field of culture in industry is Tomáš Bata. It's the founder of the shoe company Bata, and it's a Czech, let's say, pioneering entrepreneur who introduced innovative methods of sale, trade, but also a system of motivating employees, promoting the concept of a garden city. He built houses for his employees. He offered them lifelong learning and set up medical facilities. And also he built really well-working infrastructure. So we can say that he was not a person who just wanted to gain a lot from his company, but he wanted to provide very good living conditions to all his employees. His company generated a lot of financial gains, but also he supported the creation of human capital. In this example, we can see still one town, or let's say city in the Czech Republic, Zlín, where you can find these traditional building structures, this concept of garden city, and also the facilities, the infrastructure around. And that's a very good example about how industry can influence the culture and how culture is influenced by the industry. But this is just one example. You can find more around, and we can say that this industrial era really influenced the environment around us. And maybe you are thinking about what we can consider as industrial heritage in general. This is characterized in the Industrial Heritage Charter, who says that remnants of industrial culture having historical, technical, social, architectural, or scientific value. These are various buildings and machinery, workshops, factories, mills, warehouses, shops, mines, places where raw materials are processed and cleaned, but also facilities where energy is transmitted and produced. It also includes transport structures and all related infrastructure, places related to industry, including facilities for housing, worship, or education. This all can be characterized as industrial heritage. And when we look back into my presentations, we see that there is still question of potential of such place. So what to do with such building? What to do with such kind of industry? We know that buildings and facilities in industry usually are designed for industrial production. So they are very large capacity. They have really, they are made of special materials of really, let's say, strong quality, and they have really exceptional construction solutions. So you cannot say that these buildings are like buildings around us. And we look for a function, what to do with such heavy, big places that are here to us. And when we want to start think about the reconstruction or to find a new function, we have to take care and to put them into the not into context of cultural landscape. Cultural landscape includes, as I told you before, more than only the function. It's linked with the social and cultural value. It's part of ordinary people's lives, and it provides a significant sense of identity. It means that also, when we talk about industrial heritage, it has scientific and technical value in the history of production, but also it has or have significant aesthetic value due to the quality and also due to the design and due to the influence on people's culture. This is an example I showed you in Zlin, and also you can find many others around. So when we want to find a new function and to keep a new vitality, or we want to revitalize the industrial heritage, we have to care on different levels, and we have to find potential in many contexts. And one motivation why we take care right now about industrial heritage, it's the tourism. Of course, we are back in my topic about tourism. Tourism is very important to tool to increase the interest about industrial heritage, and we want to show these places as attractions. We want to motivate people to go to these places and to discover them. And why it's important? It's profit. Even its production is not running, even though it was stopped for different reasons. But no, the heritage is interesting. Why you would not see a steel factory, or why you would not go to old mine? So this includes services. This is linked with culture management of cultural heritage. This is linked with culture marketing. This is linked with services such as accommodation, catering, special events that are organized at place. So the real impact of use of industrial heritage is really diverse and more than you would expect from. The question is if we can provide good quality of services at industrial heritage sites. If it's possible, if it allows us, and if the society and public is open to this kind of use. We can see some examples. In my presentation, you will see pictures of Barcelona. There is a former textile factory transformed into a new, let's say, multifunctional place. Then in London, very famous is Tate Modern, which is former power station. Then in London, you see also Battersea, former thermal power plant that is being transformed into multifunctional center. And my favorite is in Paris. You can see a very nice gallery in old railway station, Gare d'Orsay. So you can really find interesting places transformed and serving as very, very important centers for culture and, of course, art. How is it going in my country, in Slovakia? Trends are coming, and we see that there are associations taking care of heritage, but it's not in the center of interest, unfortunately. But many objects have found a new function, and really it's coming here also to this trend to renovate them. But the problem is usually on financial level because you have to really invest a lot of money, and unfortunately many unique places are slowly disappearing. One special example is really close to our university, and it's in Slovakia. It's called Medený hammer, copper hammer. It was a special place for production of copper, because Banska Bystrica is a city of copper, and we have really good sources of copper around still. But in the past, in the 16th century, we were very famous in all the world because of our copper. And now this place with significant historical role, with genius loci, with all these aspects I told you before, is disappearing. And we can see it only thanks to an artist, painter, Dominik Skutecki, who left a reference on this copper hammer in his works. And thanks to him, we can still find this heritage, even it was almost destroyed. There is only one building who is still, let's say, a ruin. But the technical infrastructure, the impact on culture in the city, because city was developing thanks to money from copper, and it was really in a coexistence of factory, of workers, of people in the city, and so on. So you can see in such small example that the industry and culture are very, very linked together, and together they create the cultural landscape and the creatures in cultural landscape. And that's why I would like you to think about industrial heritage in your region and tell me maybe what is it about, to let me know if you have such kind of industrial heritage around, how is it used, and what form you can find it, and if not, what do you think about. At the end of the presentation, I would like to thank you for watching my videos. These were my e-lectures, the introduction, let's say, into the topic. Because to go deeply into the topic, I would like to ask you to work on my worksheets. You can work on the worksheets during the lectures, after lectures, or independently from these e-lectures, because these e-lectures are available for you all the time, as well as my e-tutorials and worksheets. So I'm very happy that you were with me. I hope that you will continue in other lessons. So thank you very much for your attention.